Good afternoon. My name's Jayne Sharples and I'm from the Careers Network. Delighted to be here this afternoon to share with you information about help you can get from Careers Network on campus. Maybe that you're thinking, okay, I've just started and we're already thinking ahead. For those of you on a full-time course, doing a one-year full-time, thinking ahead to a year's time, maybe you're on a part-time course, you're thinking even further ahead. But what we do recommend is that you do plan and develop skills that will help you to move ahead once you've completed your master's qualification. I'm going to be joined during the presentation by Ellen O'Brien, who's our international careers advisor, and some members of our student engagement team. So they'll be speaking to you as well. And we have included some interactive elements, which I've adapted slightly because we're being recorded. But we do want to get you thinking about your individual career plan and ways in which you can get help from Careers Network. So we're going to help you to think about how you can plan, how you can develop employability skills, an effective career strategy, how you can market yourself to get ahead in the job market. And that's wherever you are in your career. So we recognise that as a postgraduate, it could be you're going to be applying for jobs this year. It could be that you're thinking of continuing your studies once you've done a master's, perhaps thinking of going on to do a PhD. Perhaps you're already in work and you're doing your master's as part of your continuing professional development. So I hope in this presentation there's going to be information that will be useful to you wherever you are and whatever your plans are. And then finally, we can help you to connect with fellow postgraduates, which is happening today. My guess is that there's postgraduates from across campus. We can also connect you to employers and to alumni. And I thought at this point, before I forget, I'd flag up the first of our careers fairs on campus, which is on the 17th of October. Date for your diaries, particularly if you want to apply for a graduate scheme or to work for one of the larger recruiters. Then you really do need to be planning and looking at deadlines, some of which are in October, November. Okay. Great, so this is where we would like to ask you to do some thinking about where you are in terms of your career development. And we've got a pathway. And we'd like you to think about where you are now on this pathway. And I think Ellen and Blandine and Adi are going to come round. So just let's take a minute or two to think about where you are. Perhaps you're at point 10 on the path. You've got a very clear view of where you want to be once you've completed your master's. You know what job you want to go for, what field you want to work in. That's at point 10 on the right-hand side of the path. Perhaps you're somewhere in the middle. You've done some research. You've already made a decision to do a master's, so to get a higher qualification. Maybe you're at the start of the pathway, thinking about keeping your options open. We talk about planning, and in today's job market, it's good to plan, but it's also good to be open to opportunities. It's quite a dynamic environment out there with new jobs coming on stream all the time. So yes, have a plan, but be flexible in your planning. Could we ask for a show of hands? How many would put themselves at number 10? Okay. What about those of you that are somewhere around the 6 or 7? Fair few there. What about 3 or 4? And perhaps at the start, so more around 1, 2. And it's also fine to be at the start of your thinking and open to what you may want to go on to do once you've got your master's. Thank you for sharing that. And there was an even spread across, so great. Okay, what we're going to do now is look at another tool that we use in careers. We talk about career action planning. And this is just one, this looks quite linear. It's just one suggested form or tool that you can use to develop a career action plan. It could be that you prefer doing mind maps. We're going to hand round these forms now so that you all have a copy. And there is also a downloadable version of the Career Action Plan on our website. So if you do want an electronic version that you can fill in. And it's split into 5 sections. So number 1 is goal setting. And if you look across to the 3rd column with resources, that links through to the relevant Careers Network resources that you can access. So have a think about what your career goal is based on where you are on the roadmap that we looked at earlier. If you want help from the Careers Network with your planning, there are a few options. One is you can book an appointment with a careers advisor, so you can have a one-to-one advice session. And at this point, I'd like to draw your attention to our quick guides. Have any of you picked one of these up as you came in? I recommend that you take one of these away. There's one for each of the 5 colleges, and this gives you details of all of the services that are available through Careers Network, and introduces you to the team in your college. So you can book to have a one-to-one advice session with a careers advisor with specialist knowledge in your college. It also details, if you're an international student, there's services for international students. So it gives you the necessary links to where to look for information. And there's also details about postgraduate services. So there's lots of help available, both online or if you want to see someone within Careers Network. Okay, moving to the next part, we in Careers talk about knowing yourself and developing your self-awareness. This helps if you're at the start of your planning and thinking about what type of career or job would suit me. It also helps if you've got an interview, because employers want to see what motivates you, why you're going for the job that you're being interviewed for. So it's useful to spend some time looking at what your strengths and skills are, and also what is important to you, what your values are. So there are some useful links there that you may want to look at. At this point, I'd just like to mention our career coaching workshops. Each term, there's a series of workshops which are specifically for master's students. These are in addition to the workshops that you'll find available in your college. So there are interview skills workshops in your college, but these workshops are open to master's students from across campus. This is the programme coming up. So the first one, if you're keen to go to the fairs, we are running workshops to help you prepare. Secondly, if you want to do some more work on your career action planning, there's a workshop dedicated to look at that. That's on the 18th of October. Third one, each term we'll do one skills session. So this term it's on enterprise, and that's in conjunction with entrepreneurship and innovation. And then at the end of the term we've got another career action planning session. Section 3 on back to your career action plan is actually a whole section on skills, developing your skills. And at this point, I'd like to ask Katie to come and say a few words. Katie works in our student engagement team and is just going to share a few words about her experience of gaining work experience on campus.
Work experience on campus. Hi, everybody. Like Jayne said, I'm Katie and I work as one of the CV advisors in the Career Centre, and I also work with these induction workshops at the same time. And I'm just here to just talk a little bit about gaining work experience and also kind of developing your skills in general. I would say at this point, and I've been at this point semi-recently, you kind of have to start thinking about what your skills and strengths are at the moment and where you want to be, where you want to develop the skills. And I think that's probably a good point to start thinking about what kind of work experience you might be looking for. Things like transferable skills are always worth bearing in mind. So even if you're looking for work experience in a certain area and you can't find it, I would say certainly look at a variety of opportunities, because it might be that skills you develop in some work experience that isn't directly related to what your career plan is might still be very beneficial to you in the long run. In terms of campus opportunities for work experience, I would say the Job Zone is a good place to start. They have a lot of part-time work, casual work. There's a new service called WorkLink, which has just started up, where I think you sign up and you get emailed job opportunities when they arise. You upload your CV, so it kind of, I think there's a certain matching that goes on whether you would be good for that job. I would just say look early if you're looking for work. Think about what it is that you want to get out of the work experience. Think about what time you can devote to the work experience while you're doing your studies at the same time. And networking is a really good way as well. Just keeping in touch with people, getting on email lists, things like that. All of those can be very beneficial if you're looking for work experience that you can develop your skills with.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
Katie, that's great. Still on the theme of skills, I'd like Ellen Showbrook's going to come and say a few words about our Postgraduate Talk PSA, Personal Skills Award. Thanks, Ellen.
Hello, thank you very much for having me. I'm not going to talk for very long because obviously there's quite a lot of information coming at you today, and I'm sure you're all desperate to go and grab a glass of wine and some nibbles and start chatting. But the Personal Skills Award is the university's employability award scheme that we've offered to undergraduates at the university for quite some time now. This year, we've developed a pilot programme for postgraduate taught students specifically. What it is, it's a scheme that recognises your involvement in any activities that you're doing outside of your degree. So anything that you're doing on campus, if you're becoming a student rep for your course or for your department, if you're getting involved in guild societies, if you're doing sports with the University of Birmingham Sports Centre, any volunteering you're doing, or even part-time work, we accredit all of those things through a point system. Come to some workshops where you meet other postgraduate taught students, again have an opportunity to network, talk about your skills, reflect on the skills that you're developing both through your activities and through your degree, and as I say, have a chance to sort of think about what the issues are specifically affecting you as master's students when you go out into the employment market. You know, how do you really sell the value of your masters to employers? How do you talk about, you know, that time that you've input and the skills that you've developed through that programme of study and that higher qualification? And again, that will vary, as Jayne was discussing, depending on where you want to go. So, you know, kind of thinking about what it is that you want to do and how to get there, really. It's not for everybody. It's really, you know, if you are thinking that you might want to get engaged with the university community and the things that we've got on offer, then it might be something that you're interested in. Because it's a pilot pathway this year, we've got a very limited intake, so it's just 50 students this year, just to see how it runs and get your feedback on whether this is something you might find useful as postgraduate taught students, you know, how it might work, you know, for you. So if it is something that you're interested in, what I'd say is pick up one of these flyers, which are outside and all around campus. Come and speak to me. I'll be outside for a little bit after the session. And go on our website and have a look and see if it's something you might want to find out a bit more about. The deadline for the programme is actually next week. So if it is something you think that might be useful to you, have a look now and see if it's something that you want to get involved with. Okay.
Thank you very much, Ellen. Okay, so we're going to move on from skills, and we're now going to look at, actually, before we move on from skills, we do have an online tool called Progress, which you can access through my BHAM, and you can go on to Progress and do some self-reflection and thinking about skills you're developing. Katie mentioned transferable skills. Progress is a good tool for you to think about your skill set and plan. At this point, we're going to move on to the fourth section of your career action plan, which looks at researching career options. And Ellen's going to come and say a few words in her role as International Careers Advisor, but also more broadly about researching the job market.
Good afternoon, everybody. And for those of you who don't know me, as Jane said, I'm Ellen O'Brien, and my job title is International Careers Advisor. So that would give you a clue that I work predominantly with international students, and that's true. But one thing we found here at the University of Birmingham, and I think it's fairly typical in other universities as well, is that we always have a very high proportion of international students on our postgraduate programmes. So if I could ask you now, show of hands, how many people here are non-EU people from outside? Yeah, so that's great. Okay. Well, I'm going to talk you through some of the sort of strategies, the events, the activities that we put on to support international students. But actually what I'm going to say is relevant to everybody, to all the EU and UK students as well. Now, when you were coming in, you might have seen this guide on the desk outside, and I've got more copies of it here. And this is the guide that we put together as an introduction to the services that I offer, and also that the Careers Centre, or rather the Careers Network as we're now called, that we offer as well. And one other thing I'd like to mention to you as well is that those resources you see on the slide there are saying things like going global and international jobs online and country profiles. And that's true because, like employability, internationalisation is a very prominent theme now in the university. And across all schools and colleges, we're looking at ways to internationalise the way we get our messages across to students. So I'm here today, I'm not just talking to people who are from outside the UK and want to stay here when they graduate, or from inside the UK and they want to go and travel somewhere else, or for those people who want to go back home after they graduate. We're all here together, we're all part of the global workforce. Okay, so some of the other activities have already been mentioned. We've talked about the Progress, useful learning and development tool. Ellen's talked about the Personal Skills Award. Jane mentioned that we have other student ambassadors, and my guys are the guys in the blue hoodies over there. They're both international students, and there's a team of people who are out there going to a lot of the events that the Careers Network offer so that they can internationalise those events. So if you go to any CV workshops or interview workshops or application form workshops, the chances are you will meet some of the student ambassadors, the international guys, who will be there giving you extra support if you require it. Okay, Katie mentioned the job zone, she mentioned volunteering, she mentioned other aspects of student development, so I'm not going to say anything else about them. Jane hit on the fact that the graduate recruitment cycle usually takes about a year, and if you're here in a one-year taught programme, you're going to be looking to start work actually this time next year, which is, it's going to go so fast you won't know what's happened, right? So now is the time to start looking. And the big employers are already advertising their vacancies now. So I wouldn't wait, put things off. You're going to have to do a tremendous amount of things this year on an intensive one-year programme, and job seeking is going to be one of those things as well. But if you want support, come to some of the interactive workshops that me and my team are running. We've got a skill series ongoing over at the Guild. Monday afternoons, we're looking at things like job seeking beyond the UK, or how to network. or business etiquette in the UK. I'm also doing some college programs. We've got employers coming in from China to talk about opportunities back home in China. We have a big event on the 27th of October. The British Council are coming in to talk about activities back in China. And if you pick up one of these guides, you'll see a link to the website so you can see how to sign up and apply for these different activities. We also have, my student team have a LinkedIn page, and you're very welcome to join the LinkedIn page as well. And I've also put on here all the dates of all the other employer fairs. Jayne mentioned the first event that's happening next week. I put the rest of the dates for the rest of the term. So please pick up a guide and hope to see you around. Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much, Ellen.
Hey.
Ellen got a round of applause. Okay, so I hope you're getting the picture now. There are lots of services on offer, lots of ways in which you can engage with the Careers Network, whatever your career goals are. Just going to look at the last part of the Career Action Plan. So section 5 is getting ahead strategies for your career development. We talk about how you can stand out from the crowd. And it's at this point that I guess we recommend that you commit. You can't do everything. So I think it's thinking strategically about where you are now, where you want to be, and what are the key actions you need to be taking for your own personal situation. So just a few examples are there in the resources column. Just picked out one to share with you, writing an effective CV. You can get information online through our website. You can book a one-to-one CV advice session. There are a number of places where you can get CV advice sessions, either through your college team, at the Guild. Katie, who spoke earlier, is one of our CV advisors on campus. So there's a team out there who can offer one-to-one CV advice sessions. And Blandine as well is also one of our trained CV advisors. Okay, I talked earlier about planning, developing your skills and connecting with one another and staying informed. Ellen's already mentioned the International Career Networking LinkedIn group. We've also got a Twitter feed for Careers PG and LinkedIn groups. And there's a newsletter that goes out once a week from Careers Network, which gives all of the information of key events that week. You have to subscribe to that one, but I do recommend that you subscribe. And the colleges have careers newsletters. What you'll get from your college is subject-specific information, so where employers are coming in relevant to your subject area. Okay. So what next? A lot of information there. The top link is to our website and the PGT page, which is quite a good starting point for you. But there are pages for each of the 5 colleges. I mentioned the guide. Recommend you pick up one of those. To book events or workshops, you need to go to our online interactive careers service. I haven't put the telephone number of the Careers Centre, but any problems with booking online, do give us a call or email. We do have an e-guidance service. So any problems, do get in touch. And you can come and visit us on campus, as well as the hubs, the college hubs. We do have a central office. It's above SPA in University Centre. So you can come in and visit us with your questions. So I'd like to thank my colleagues for taking part in the presentation. I hope you've found that useful, that whistle-stop tour, and I hope it's also got you thinking about where you are now and where you want to be, and you're clear about how we can help you. So look forward to seeing you around campus, and thank you very much for getting involved and listening. Thank you.